Thank you, man. Wow. All right, YouTube. We are up. It's Friday. I fell asleep immediately after work today. So I'm up for a couple hours and then we'll lie down for a nap before we get the day started. Got a lot of interesting things going on. What is going on, Mr. Mr. Smith? You know, once you get something in your head, it sticks about, doesn't it? But yeah, we got some interesting stuff going on. This weekend there's going to be a big art festival. So we're going to be out there with the Kindle Live app, which we talked a little bit about early last week during the weekend that I got that resolved. We'll be able to do cellular streams with Kindle now. And I felt like I should almost done that tonight for this stream, but what are you going to do? Let me hook up the chat here. And you'll be working on some cool stuff too. You'll be sharing with us, which very, very cool. Dylan's been motivated to kind of take what I've done with WebRTC and use AI to generate his own little video caller, which is cool. I'm curious to see what he does with it. AI makes it appear easy, but once you actually, you know, get into try to like deploy it or scale it, you immediately run into issues. But you know what I mean? It's encouraging them to learn. That's a good thing. I'll be honest, working with this technology has set me up pretty good. But I can tell you, without getting into crazy details, that when you're in a corporate environment implementing these tools, you have to work across so many systems, and there's so much data protection stuff that you can't even leverage AI as you think, even if you wanted to. So something to keep in mind. I do kind of agree.
At Official Bytesmith says, do you got code on GitHub? That's the goal. Glad to see the branding works. That's dope, haha. Aliases keep you safe. I've been getting deep into PCB dev and working on learning KiCad.
Right on. KiCad. Let's check that out. We're doing a desktop stream tonight, so we're likely not going to see too much of a influx over here tonight, but it's all right. We're hanging out for a bit. Schematic capture and PCB. Okay, so you're looking to get your create custom circuit boards and have those printed. Are you looking to have like a company also like install the physical components in it as well? That's pretty cool, man.
Yes, sir.
That's badass.
PCB way full assembly.
All right, okay. I think I've heard of those guys. 8-bit guy on YouTube. He has a lot of custom boards built, and I like following that stuff. I like seeing people do physical hardware intersecting with software. Like that's the dream right there. So very, very cool. I've told you this before, but I was a huge fan and early adopter of PDAs. So I started with like the Palm Pilot when I was a kid, and then I got a hold of like is it HP Compact? It could run Skype. It could do calls on it. You could do Wi-Fi, which was crazy back then. I loved that thing. Even had like a build at Age of Empires, I think. And you know, the battery was replaceable. It had like a SD card slot. You could. The cool thing with these PDAs is actually you could buy like wireless modules that use the SD card slot. Like they used it like a PCI slot in a way. Pretty sick. We're gonna have to pick one of those up someday, do a video on it, and see if we could get Kinto running on it. That would be sick. I did pick up a Palm Pilot, but that thing is ancient, so we're not going to try and run Kinto on that.
If you have Pi schematics, you get them reverse engineered, make additions, and have them print and assemble a bunch super cheap.
Right on. Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna have to schedule some time. Maybe I don't know, man. We're gonna have to talk about what you got going on and some of the issues. I know finding a screen has always been an issue with those sort of projects. There was a project, I don't know, man. It was like maybe like 10 years ago. It was like Ubuntu was pushing it for like a modular laptop, so you could update parts of it over time. And I mean, it got me excited. That's the sort of, that's how I wanted computers to be. But you know, I'd say in like the last 10, 15 years, we've just went the complete opposite route of that. Everything from our mobile phones to our laptops.
That would be dope.
I think it's more important now than ever, especially with the, you know, the systems on a chip and RAM being directly
RAM went
soldered.
up. It's like $500 for 64 gigabytes.
And you just called it. You called one of the issues there. And by soldering RAM,
I got it all when it was cheaper.
PCBs, that means it can't be recycled as well. Like you can't just easily pull it out when you get a new machine. Crazier. I have 24 gigs in this MacBook Air that we're using as a code machine. I can't take any of that out. I know it's not a crazy amount of RAM or anything, but this thing is you know, it's as thin as half a notebook. It's not bad. But I think what we're going to need tomorrow, because obviously we got work during the day, and I'm debating if I'm going to drive into town before the sun comes up and bring the dogs over, because there's a big event during the weekend. So I'm already there to have a parking spot, or I'm just going to try and rush and do all that at the end of the night, which is probably going to end up happening. But absolutely getting out there.
But that means I got $1,000 worth of RAM because my RAM is RGB, but I probably paid $200 3 years ago.
Bloody hell, man. That's insane. Yeah. I've seen a wee bit of the dark side of AI infrastructure. There's a ton of sites around me that are being developed for AI data centers. And the main concern I have is it actually pumps up your utility bills. You got to pay way more money on your electric. So that's kind of a bummer. I like leveraging, you know, infrastructure, but who wants it in their backyard? Most people don't.
It's constraints to slow the roll.
That's true as well. Yeah. I don't think that local AI is being encouraged, if you know what I mean, which is really where the future
Consumers
AI is.
don't need the power.
Getting some Chinese in the belly. I haven't picked anything up for like 4 months because you know, feast and famine in this industry. But yeah, Mr. Smith, definitely gonna be scheduling a time for these lives, at least once a week.
Didn't even say it out loud. C control.
Ah. Well, if you can see the logs of my AI intent filtering in the background, it's probably like, computer says now. It's funny. Like, you know, I wouldn't feel safe even running something like this without AI unless like I had someone like manually in the back pressing a button like, okay, this comment's
Tears of
safe.
joy.
You can see my debug log, right? Yeah, you can. You can, right at the bottom of the screen. I set that up. So now when we have people that send messages, they're like, oh, why didn't my message get through? Point at that thing.
Local I.
Yeah. So we do actually have to package a release for that. I do have that implemented over here. We can move moderation to local. One of my concerns with that, though, is my machines are definitely not as fast at inference as, you know, what's happening on the cloud. So maybe we'll slow roll that. But like I said, we'll have a standardized stream schedule, I think 2 times a week. And then during the weekend, it's a free-for-all. Maybe like Wednesday and a Thursday or a Friday. Thinking maybe 9 or 10 p.m.
Do you
EST.
accept side work on coding for pay?
Why not? Why not? You know what's funny, Mr. Smith? I have to say this, all right? You know, so I've like met with like a bunch of people over the past couple of months. Some of them I've worked for before. Some of them want to work with me. And I don't know if it's just how the bloody universe works, or you just line up enough things. Like past me has already lined up enough things that like on one day it just all hits at the same time. I kind of had that experience this week, and you just saying that just made me think of that. I was a chief technical officer for a plant that you know about that I don't want you to talk about in the chat, for the advocacy association called AKA. Guess who hit me up this week? They did. There's probably about four of them. Very, very strange. But what are you gonna do? But you know what? You got cool stuff going on. It just made me think about what I've been experiencing in my personal life, and I've not been able to speak about it because the last time I did a live was
hit you up
last
for work,
weekend, right? Oh, multiple of them. I made a small. It's hard to describe. I'm still in the thick of it, but yeah, we have options. But what I'm doing now is incredibly interesting, and rarely have I been in a
NDAs
position.
I understand.
Yes, rarely. And when you get to this point, you end up building a collection of NDAs. So it's like, all right, I'll work in this industry for 4 or 5 years, and then you move on to the next. That way there's no crossover impact. Plus I'm someone that doesn't like trouble, and I'm not motivated by money like most, so it keeps me out of issues. But I wish I could speak more freely, but we will still explore the various technologies and DevOps stuff outside of that, because one of the reasons I could even go into a job like this is not just because of my professional experience working at other companies where I've developed
I want to change the
systems.
industry. I'm going to be open source.
I respect that. And yeah, a lot of what I'm actually utilizing is stuff that I've learned and built and shown some of you along the way. Like, you know, everybody has the next great idea, right? And they want to protect it, and I understand that. But as someone that might even be a little bit on that side of things as well, it just prevents things from moving forward. But it's a different story when you're a large company. That's definitely true. So figuring it out, we'll get used to it.
It prevents growth.
Nice. I agreed. My main issue isn't even so much NDAs, but patent trolls. Like if you look at what Apple and Facebook and Microsoft have done with user interface
for humanity.
I agree with that. I do. I've probably coded things in Kinso that infringed some patent out there that I have no concept or clue about. But you know what? You find out when you get a a cease or desist or what you call it, served. Welcome to America. You know, I love America in many ways, but it's so, and it's like an episode of Silicon Valley some days, especially on my side. One of the best shows ever created, by the way, Silicon Valley. Could watch that 100 times. And it shows you like how bad doesn't necessarily start with one big decision. It's a stack of them.
That's why I reverse engineer and change the layout.
There's that. There is a band I've been listening to called Dope Lemon. They're pretty fire.
Can't hit on a pattern if it's not the same.
No, that's true. You got to go. But I'll give you an example of something that was patented. You know, the original iPhone slide to unlock, that user experience, that was patented. Like, it could be something as simple as a slider. And that frustrates me, man. You know what? I'll call my next dog Patent. So when I shout to give him in trouble, I can call him a bad patent. It's actually really cool. I'll do that. Lucy's getting pretty old, aren't you, Lucy?
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, sir. I've had this dog here since I was about 18. You want to hear something messed up? She never goes pee in the house. But I took my younger dog out for a walk yesterday at lunch because he's less stressed to walk. They're actually both good together. It's just, you know, I wanted to walk him. I come back and there was a pee spot in the middle of my office and the one carpet I have left in this house. Because this guy got a walk. He's gonna try to jump up. You better chill. There's wires everywhere, dude. There we go. That's how he likes to sleep.
Tears of joy.
He's a total brute, man, but he's really good to walk and take in public. So he's coming out this weekend. Well, they both are, but he'll be out more. This is him. You having fun up there? All right, off you go. There goes the headphones. Chill. Ah, that's my dog. I have to like wash him every couple of days, and he just has this stank to him, right, Church? And the way he shows affection is by like throwing his entire being into it, full speed. Uh-huh. Chill.
That's how my pit bull is.
Yeah, it's in the bulldog specifically. He's trying to jump through it. You know how the seat arm has like a little hole? He's stuck in it, dude. He is stuck in the seat. I'm about to walk out this room and just leave him there. You know what's funny is he's in here every stream I do, but I showed him a little bit of attention, a little bit of
open
love,
mouth
and
smile.
he's like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this my whole life. We're gonna let Church outside for a second. Church. What's the move?
He's like,
Church.
I have a dream to be a show dog.
You know, I'm half tempted. I looked up a little harness to get a camera to put on him because I'm taking him to the art festival, and there's going to be thousands of people. And I'm so tempted to just put a camera on him and start recording his perspective, because I think he would do better on YouTube than these coding sessions.
You should, haha.
The first woman that seen him when I took him out last weekend literally stopped everything she was doing and ran up to him, and it's like, oh my bloody god, like, oh my god, he is so cute. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to socialize him.
I'd watch that for sure. That sounds awesome.
You know what's funny is when I walk him, he is extremely well behaved. He'll ignore other dogs. He'll ignore other people for the most part. But if he is off the leash, man, it's chaos. He just wants to play. Dogs outside, both of them. I did realize that I'm like low-key allergic to my dog, which is frustrating. So I've started taking like Claritin every day, and it cleared up like some of the redness I got on my face, which I found hilarious because I had no idea why it was happening. So I'm going to be taking Claritin the rest of this dog's life because I'm not getting rid of him. It's my dog. Never had allergic issues to dogs. It's usually just cats, but what are you going to do? Oh, Sunlord made an entrance. Sunlord, when's my favorite time of the day to code? Great question. Definitely nighttime. But I am being forced to be a very early morning coder. Like, I'm talking leaving the house by like 7 a.m. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But it's cool stuff.
I developed allergies to dogs in my 20s.
It's brutal, isn't it? It's genuinely brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Like, I'll get like itchy when he rubs all over me. Like little hives. Makes sense now. But the more often I wash him, the less it bothers me. So at least he's a clean dog. And he's short hair. You think that I wouldn't be allergic to him, but growing up in Scotland, I had the most horrific allergies. I remember one summer I was staying with my granddad. He lived near all the farms and that, like, you know, oats, wheat, barley, all that. I woke up and I'm like, Granddad, my eyes won't open. They're all crusted together. And he's like, son, that's That's messed up. So I got held down and I got the eye drops to the eyes, and that's how he had to handle it. Every time I got eye drops, I had to be held down. And ever since then, I can't have anything touch my eyes. Like, it's like the ultimate
I never
fear.
pet my dog, I just take care of him.
Oh, as long as he's well fed and comfortable, right? Better let these dogs back in. And we have to keep an eye on time because, like I said, I'm going to take an additional nap and then we'll get up and deal with the day.
Trained him to listen to my commands and protect us.
That's what's up. My dogs, I taught them my own form of sign language, so I can have them do commands by just my hands alone. So I got tired of shouting. And you see Church, like, he responds to literally brute force, be it voice or pushing him around. So having him respond to hand signals was a huge step forward. Church.
Yeah, he sleeps in a giant enclosure and I feed him organic brown rice and chicken dog food.
Oh, he's an outside dog. Interesting. Well, you do live like practically on a farm. You know, as soon as I come to sit back at the computer, he'll be smashing the door. He runs into the door full force.
No, I built the enclosure in my bedroom.
Oh, right. Okay, okay. Get some of this food down before anything. So originally at this company, I was hired as a lead engineer for the back end and the front end of the project. And then they seen my experience with IoT and all that. My extreme familiarity with the command line, DevOps, containers. So I think I'm moving more into a principal systems engineer role, or possibly even architect as time moves on. It's fun. Over the course of my career, I've held some positions at big, well-known companies, especially in Florida, and Latin America, actually. And I don't often talk about my experience.
At Virar Veltil Loftereza says hello.
Hello, welcome. How are you doing?
I can point at the ground and he will sit. I say lay down while pointing at the ground and he will lay. Trained him to take food gently, and he alerts only to intrusions, never barks at vehicles.
What kind of dog is he? You say he's a pit bull? This one song I just keep playing on loop. That's how it is. I find a song I like and I'll just play it 50 times.
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing very well. Cheers for stopping by and chatting. So I started a new job this past week, and I coded some additional software updates to this whole streaming system I built over here. So we're going to be taking it into the real world this weekend. We're going to be documenting, filming, and live streaming using Kinto, an art festival. Thousands of people. So keep an eye out for that if you want to see avatar chat in the wild. And Mr. Smith says, I can hear my dog smashing my door, by the way, so I'm about to go get him. He just said, yeah, but I put myself in an authority alpha position in establishment of energy. Yeah, dogs are very receptive to that. If you look at wolves and specifically tamed wolves, they respond literally.
Sounds cool.
To
good luck.
Action. I appreciate you. Yeah, make sure if you can drop a like and subscribe. That way we can get more people on as we demo this system. But I appreciate you stopping by and chatting and showing your support. I really do. YouTube doesn't know what to do with a project such as this. It's very unique, it's very creative, but it doesn't know where to put it. So we need humans to help us figure that out.
CodeLock is a legendary coder.
We're all part of that. We're all part of a legend now. Appreciate that, guys. Mr. Smith is working on some cool stuff too. I love hearing what you guys are working on. I'd say it's one of the main reasons that I continue doing these streams. It's one thing for me to show you what I build. It's another for me to hear what you guys are interested in.
A lot of projects, haha.
That's the only way. The one thing that I did want to complete before this test at the art festival was getting native support for Bluetooth microphones. But we don't have enough time to do that, so we're going to use WebRTC. Is there a stream schedule? Great question. See, I was just talking about this, Mr. Smith. So we're looking to at least have Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST and Friday at 9 p.m. EST as well. And then keep an eye out for random demos during the weekend. So that's where we're starting.
JoyPair12 says, what's the stack?
Great question. So we have quite a large stack here, but the majority of the code is in JavaScript, TypeScript, Node.js. We leverage WebRTC. We leverage React. We also leverage Python. And we're making a breakout into Elixir, which is a new programming language for me. So let me go ahead and put stream schedule.
FP is fun.
At CodeLock says stream schedule 9 p.m. EST Wed and Friday plus bonus weekend streams and demos.
I'll start pinning that, so that's part of it, because that's one of the things, one of the issues I've had is just a messy stream schedule, but I've been forced to get into a routine as of late. So, and I've had a lot of questions about that, so appreciate you asking. Oh, functional programming. Yeah, 100%. Oh my God. Yeah, like I said, I just started a new position with the company. And
thank you. Looks great. Keep at it.
And I appreciate you. Thank you. Church, what are you growling at? My dog's just lying on the ground growling. Yeah, Elixir's a lot different than most of the languages I've interacted with. like JavaScript over time has become more functional. It's imperative, it's object-oriented programming, and it's also partially functional. But Elixir is straight functional. Like, it's very interesting how you shape your code based on the input of the function itself. Yeah, so we're going to be digging into that and just how that plays with signaling servers and stuff like that. Basically just continuing on the path we've been on, but leveraging this as well because I do have to become extremely familiar with it. What experience do you have with functional programming languages? I'm super curious. Like, I was always aware of Erlang and stuff, but I never ever utilized it. I knew one guy that coded a socket server in Erlang back in the day, and I was always curious to why, but it's making more sense today. We are going to have to, we'll make use of the stream schedule because we've got a lot of changes to commit.
It's about adding to the future.
A lot of changes. All sorts of stuff with local AI, implementing our sharding service so we're able to utilize Elixir and Python easier in the existing stack. So that's some of the changes we'll be committing. I think in one of the last live streams I did, we built an Elixir WebSocket client that can connect to my server over here and basically act as a job scheduler. We're still looking for specific tasks to give it that, you know, I wouldn't just do in Node.js or Python, but we'll figure it out. What we got here? Oh, and I left out another part of the stack. So built a completely native iPhone application for Kinto as well to handle the creation of RTMP streams. So we could feed YouTube and TikTok directly from the phone without having to use any external services. So
I love the theoretical side of computer science, especially Haskell stuff. I enjoy reading papers and experimenting with new features and stuff I get curious about.
Well, absolute pleasure to have you here tonight because I love hearing that. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
I agree.
I haven't got the chance to use Haskell in a production environment yet, but I'd love to.
I absolutely feel that. Yeah, the whole concept of immutability and plus taking one function's output as another's input feels just right to me. So kind of moved to that, which is the way I've even built this system here in JavaScript. Kind of was influenced by that. So I feel you on that. I'm just curious, have you came across any like content creators on YouTube or that cover Haskell or any other functional programming languages that you recommend we check out? Like obviously it's better to just dive into the the reading aspect, but I'm just curious. And I'm curious about what your typical day stack is as well.
It feels weird writing object-oriented stuff after getting a taste of functional programming, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Absolutely does. Absolutely does. Some of those concepts, thankfully, in JavaScript have rubbed off pretty early. Like there was a time where people were using for loops and nested if statements to filter data, and just even removing that and making use of .filter, .map, .find, huge to actually simplifying the code and making it more readable. And that made it easier for me going into Elixir and seeing like, hey, you're not supposed to be sitting there and doing loops. You're supposed to just filter your data first. If you have like a list of users in a database, you want to make sure they're verified or active, or they have a peer ID to connect to a WebRTC client. You don't want to just do that in a messy loop. You want to filter all that. So I love that. It feels right in my heart. And to me, in Elixir at least, I know it's not function overloading, but if you compare it to JavaScript, it kind of looks like function overloads, where you define your function headers based on the data that's coming into the function, right? So say you have something to verify if a user should log in or not. One of the arguments you might want to check is if that user is verified. Where traditionally in JavaScript, you would have guard clauses in your code at the top, like if user is not active, then return. In Elixir, you lay out separate function headers for each of those cases. So you'll literally specify if an atom for a user is not verified, then let's trigger this function, not verified. And then you have another one where if the user is verified and the user did log in successfully, then we'll trigger the whole login procedure. It just looked so clean to me, and I was just like, wow, I could appreciate this given some time. I'm still early in my journey with Elixir, but I'm feeling good. One of the funny things that happened with one of my coworkers is he was explaining his part in the front end of this project. He was just randomly dropping Spanish words in his explanation, and then afterwards he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I do that?" I'm like, "Mind what?" And he's like, use Spanish in sentences as I'm explaining things to you. And I was like, I didn't even notice, but I actually appreciate it. Like, I'll give you an example. Mr. Smith, you know this. I was down in Miami last weekend and I went to McDonald's because I was absolutely starving, right? And it was kind of a hoodie spot, but went to order the food and it was straight in Spanish, like literally straight Spanish. So I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm gonna have to step it up here. So not only programming languages, but in spoken language, the more you know, the more you'll be able to get done. But yeah, I was aware of the fact that like large parts of South Florida literally speak just Spanish, but I didn't expect that at like McDonald's. And I rarely go to McDonald's, but I went that day.
You just reminded me of the cheeseburger I forgot was on my passenger seat.
Luckily, the temperatures are such up there that I'm sure it's just fine. And de nada. All right, you're welcome.
Facts, you right.
Ningún problema. Ningún problema.
Ningún problema. We'll let you grab your burger and then we'll wrap up any remaining chats and go hop on the telly and prepare to wind down for a couple hours. I fell asleep immediately after work, like maybe, I don't know, 5:30 p.m. I woke up around 11 p.m. and here we are. It's going to take a little minute for me to keep shifting my sleep schedule to where it has to be, but my ideal world,
I feel that.
This is when I'll be coding. Yeah. I did get my friend into the Expanse.
My sleep schedule is all jacked up.
Oh, man. I'll be honest, the first day I went into work,
Overactive brain's winking face.
I basically got no sleep the night before. But I was like, you know what? We gotta go. We gotta do this. I know it just fine. I'm used to operating in a constraints, but thankfully we're sleeping. It's just at the wrong time. So what are you gonna do? I've dealt with that issue ever since I've had a computer in front of me, though, because why go to bed when I have a laptop next to me and I could be testing, coding, whatever. And now these days, I don't even need the laptop in front of me to keep me up. It's just my mind will keep me going.
I feel that, LOL.
Coders unite. Bloody hell.
Lol, I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah, I know. There has to be a word for that, right? But yeah, I think our next stream you'll be seeing us on.
It's really a semi-painful curse.
Oh, yeah, it definitely doesn't feel great. Like when in the moment when it comes to get what you want done, yeah, it's good, but other humans involved that don't understand. Oh God, help us. But the next stream we'll do will be on the cell phone using cellular Kinto. And we have a little lens for it as well. It's going to make it match the camera here that I'll be using document. It's actually pretty cool. Oh, that's a telephoto. That's not the one we want.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, 100%. And having the avatars as part of it is like critical to me. I don't like doing it if we don't have that whole system going as well. Plus, there's interesting things to look at. They basically shut down this entire town for vehicle traffic and take chalk and take paint and draw all over the roads. And some of the art's incredible, like genuinely good. And people come from all over the country. I even know some people that are coming from out the country to come experience it. All right, where is this bloody lens? Did we lose it? Possibility. I'll figure it out. We might charge the drone as well and bring that. I am set up to be able to live stream drone feeds into Kinto, but I'm only one person, so it's a lot for me to manage with like actual human beings around. So I might bring it and just record. If we were going to do live streams for the capture card situation, the Kinto would be using this beast. This thing is an absolute beast. And I've got smaller ones as well, but this is the one. But we'll be making use of this little guy on the iPhone 16.
Looks cool.
And at first I was like, oh, lenses will make no difference on, you know, an iPhone sensor. They actually do. Getting into this camera right here, the Panasonic G9 Micro Four Thirds system, really showed me what good glass can do. And 100%, yeah. Let's see. The one that we'll likely be bringing will be this guy. So I'll charge it all up tonight. Now becoming like illegal in America, but we have one. Not technically illegal, but just making imports very difficult, unfortunately. And I'll be the first to admit, DJI, China, produced some of the best drones on the market. Like, you just can't get around it. It's the same for phones.
I agree.
Yeah. There was American companies that was making consumer drones. But ever since the import ban went through for DJI, the American companies such as Skydio that made, you know, kind of crappy consumer American drones have moved completely to law enforcement and military drones, and I think farming applications. So as usual, the small guy is getting the shaft. The thing I like about this big drone, the one I've showed you first, this was one of the last drones that could fly entirely by itself without a controller connected. So you can use virtual sticks with an iPhone app or an Android app and a controller to control your drone, but that's to maintain a connection to your controller. The generation before those drones could run entirely off of predefined height maps and just follow it by GPS. You could throw the controller in the rubbish bin and that drone would still go where you want it to go. Along the way, it would turn around and look and record whatever you want. And it will go down to specific altitudes or up to specific altitudes. Absolutely incredible system to have access to. So that's why I kept it, even though it's an older generation drone. It's one of the more powerful ones as far as autonomous like applications. Did a wee bit of coding for it, but nothing crazy, nothing on video.
I get it.
All right, guys, I'm glad I hopped on tonight. It was enjoyable just hanging out. We didn't get much code done, but you know, we have to, like I said, start a new routine, just start a new job this week. And that was the priority, right? But I enjoy this. I enjoy just enjoy
Have a
the
good
process.
rest of your day.
I appreciate you, man, and you too. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, because I'd love to chat with you again. And Mr. Smith, we'll catch you on the other side, bud.
I am.
Awesome. All right. Brilliant. All right, we'll shut this down. And we'll be back likely tomorrow, not tomorrow, during the day, Saturday.
Good night.
All right, enjoy that cheeseburger.
Teedle hand waving.